What is up, everybody? We are back with some Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and we are here to answer that question: should you pull on the 1.5 anniversary Angeal banner? If you're new to the channel, guys, you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, follow along with what we do here, hit that like button, comment your opinions on this banner down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's start that conversation, and let's get into this. So, first things first, we finally have our final banner, so this is now a great time if you were wanting to pull sometime during the anniversary to decide what banner you're going to pull on. At the end of this, I will kind of talk about, in my opinion, what I feel like are the stronger banners and which are the weakers. So let's get into this. When it comes to these banners, guys, remember, if you are somebody who has that favorite character and you want to have everything for that character, and that character for you is Angeal, then this video really doesn't matter. Pull on the banner, just make sure you can get the costume, because that's always kind of the bigger thing when it comes to these. And then, you know, have fun with the game. This is more designed for those who are looking for the meta of the game. You're trying to decide what fits best with your account and with that. So, here we go. So looking at the look of the outfit first, I mentioned this in my first look video. From the back, I think this outfit looks absolutely amazing. I love the look of it. I love the sword, how it matches with all this stuff. Even from the side view, it looks really, really good. I like this. The front, I'm not as sold on. And honestly, it's mainly the face. I'm not too big on his little Odin horns here. The rest doesn't look too bad. The leather pants are kind of weird. I don't know. Especially, you know, considering they look nice and pristine when everything else is all torn up. But like I said, from the back, this thing looks amazing. I love the look of this thing from the back side, which is awesome because that's the side we're going to see most anyways when you're using it. I do like the little, the side, the hip gold plates. They got the gold pauldron here, which looks really awesome. Gloves look great. The sword looks absolutely stunning. I love the look of this sword. This is probably my favorite of the weapons so far. But yeah, so look-wise, you know, again, I'm not too big on this part. I'm not sure even what's going on with the shirt. The little half shirt thing for him here. I don't mind the jacket. The half jacket's fine, but I either wish they would have gone with like either like a full jacket with the half shirt or a full shirt with the half jacket. It's just something just doesn't fit right with it. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Like I said, backside, this thing looks awesome. And then again, the horns I'm not too big on with him. So let's look at the stats of things. Garb of the Worthy here. Reprieve, an amazing skill. Absolutely awesome, especially with Angeal being a tank. That's a great skill to have on this armor. Crown of the Worthy. So, you know, I was wondering if he was going to get like an Omni Elemental thing. It's not. So this Crown of the Worthy grants physical defense up of your max potency tier +1. It only affects the max tier. So if it goes mid to high, for example, the first time you cast it, it's going to go mid. That's not going to change. It's when you go to your highest max tier. So when it goes to high, that second time, it's actually going to go up to very high. It's going to get the 4 stacks. If it was something that was high to high, then it's just going to go straight to the 4 stacks right off the first cast, which will actually kind of tie back into his weapon here in a moment. So overall, I think this costume, again, look-wise, is kind of eh. Well, except for the back. Stat-wise, I think is awesome. I think it's a nice, a great thing to have for a tank, especially, you know, him being able to throw out those buffs of the P-Def, which again, it is only P-Def. That is something to keep in mind. It does not affect magic defense, which honestly I think is a little bit of a bummer. I wish it would have been magic defense and physical defense for this. I'm assuming we might see that with, let's see, who's one of our other tanks? Glenn, maybe? But, I kind of wish we would have seen that here. Alright, so the sword, the Great Sword of the Worthy. Looks-wise, this thing looks awesome. I love the look of this thing. It's going to, at just base 5-star, increase P-Def mid to mid, and M-Def is going to increase low to mid. So that one does start off low to mid. So again, with the costume, if all you had was a 5-star version of this, it's actually going to go to high. It's going to go straight to high because it only affects the max when it's at its max potency. So this would go to high right off the bat, which when we look at as it gets higher, it's actually not a good place for this weapon then. You do have the ability to do a magic heal, 5% of your healing potency. Angeal's healing potency is anyways, so this isn't going to heal for that much. When his HP is 70% or less, Veil is going to be applied to all allies, 4% of their max HP. I don't like the 40% or less. I mean, this is either you're not going to cast this at the beginning and get a Veil, basically. This is going to be something that's going to happen later on in the battle. So, you know, like for the Odin escalation, this isn't going to really help because unless he's the one that's being targeted and loses some HP first, not going to do anything. By the way, those PDEF and MDEF increases last for 12 seconds. You're also going to get a boost to attack all allies, a boost to PDEF, P-attack, triangle sigil. If you get this to OB1, you're going to go mid to mid on PDEF, low to mid on MDEF. That hasn't changed. You're up to 14 seconds now, so really only a 2-second change. Stats have jumped up a lot, which is always great. Heal is now 6%. The Veil is 5%. That's going to last for 45 seconds, by the way. Your boost attack to all allies is 32. Are you going to main hand this thing? Maybe, maybe not. The boost attack is always going to be a good thing to help to main hand. So you probably would main hand it, so at the 9%. If you were not main handing it, you're at 7%. Boosting PDEF is only 15 points, so main handing, you're going to get a 30% addition to your physical defense. If not, you're going to get a 15%. Moving on, you get it up to OB6. Now here's where some things get kind of iffy with the costume. If I'm reading the costume correctly, so for this, at OB6, PDEF is going to increase from mid to high for 16 seconds. MDEF goes from mid to high for 16 seconds. So that's just going to jump straight from low to mid to high. This is going to go from mid to mid to mid to high. Healing is going to be 7%, and again, the Veil is going to be 8%. When I read the costume, again, the costume says that this only affects max tier. So, when it was here, the max tier was mid. So, or right here, sorry, PDEF. And it's mid to mid. So first cast is going to put it at its max potency. So this would make it go high. When you get to OB6, it goes mid to high. So you're going to have to cast it twice to get to what's going to be its highest potency. You're going to go straight from mid to very high. So I find that interesting because in theory then, yes, I mean this is going to give you more in the end off that second cast, but from the first cast, you're actually going to get a better cast with this thing at OB1. Now, obviously, stats are going to increase, which is another good reason to have this thing at OB6. I mean, your boost attack has gone up to 40 points, so you're at 11%. If you're offhanding this thing, you're at the 7% still. PDEF has gone up to 27, so now you're at your 45% physical defense addition. And again, at half, you're going to be at that 15% still. If you take it to OB10, again, here's the bad thing with this. It stays mid to high. This should have gone high to high with the outfit to truly kind of have a little bit of a power creep with this thing. Because, again, if I'm reading the costume right, it's still going to take you the 2 casts to go from mid on first cast, very high on second cast. So, I don't know. I'd almost rather just use this thing at OB1 and get the high on the first cast. That's going to last for 20 seconds versus, again, what's going to be 14 seconds. So 20 seconds, MDEF's going to stay mid to high as well for 20 seconds. Magic heal 7%. The Veil has gone up to 10%. The Veil's a nice thing, but like I said, the bigger issue is the fact that it has to be 70% HP or less. And you're boosting his PDEF with this weapon as well. So how much damage is he really going to end up taking? Is he, how often is he going to be below that 70% threshold? Boosting attacks got up to 46 points, so 13% if you're main-handing, 23 points, so 9% if you're off-handing, but really close to pushing you in, 23 points, no, you're still at 7%, sorry. You're just a couple points away from hitting that 9%. So this is honestly be something you really would want to main-hand. Boost PDEF is at 39 points, so you're at 60% to your physical defense. Again, raising your physical defense, awesome. That's affecting how much damage you take. Are you actually going to get to that 70% threshold or not? So, do I like this banner? Yes, but not for the weapon. I like it for the outfit. Now, what I would do is, pray for some high stamps on this thing, pull the outfit, and actually mix that with his, what's it called? There it is. The Stalwart Integrity. Because again, at OB6, this thing's going to be high to high. So you're going to immediately get a very high cast on this thing on the very first cast at 16 seconds. And then, again, his HP in theory should be higher, so you're also going to get the P attack increase of high to high. That's not affected because only the PDEF is infected. I think this weapon actually pairs better with his costume than the featured weapon. Now, I would probably use it as a skin, don't get me wrong, and I could put this on an offhand for somebody else to help boost attack, or have it even in his offhand for the PDEF as a sub weapon, not as his offhand. But for the Odin battle, I'd rather have his outfit, the Stalwart Integrity in the main slot, because that Stalwart Integrity is going to boost the buff debuff extension and his HP, which is kind of needed. And then, in his offhand, have the Shinra Greatsword for the Earth Resist decrease, if I was going to be using Angeal in that battle. So, yeah, I'm not as keen on this weapon. It looks cool. And this part's nice. These parts are nice. But again, when you think about how the costume is going to function, this doesn't hit as hard now. Again, if it went high to high here, and just even at OB10, get it to OB10 and it goes high to high, I think this weapon would be amazing, because then it would go to very high on that first cast. But to make it have to be a 2 cast to get it there, when the Stalwart Integrity can do it in 1 cast, I think the Stalwart Integrity shines better than it in the buff department. So, that's kind of my thoughts there. So, is this a banner you should pull on? Yes, but for the costume. Wishlist Stalwart Integrity, get that thing to OB6, get the costume, get out. I would not go beyond, unless you're a huge Angeal fan and you really want to boost this thing, I would not go beyond the first page, and I would only get the costume. Like I said, if all I get's the 1 copy of his weapon, that's fine. Costume's where it's at for me on this one. And then, of course, we saw the death penalty here. So do you pull on this one? I say yes for the costume. Whether you like the look of the costume or not, whatever, throw another costume on over it. Use the skin of a different costume. But having that reprieve and that extra buff to the physical defense is awesome. Okay, so that's whether you should pull on the banner or not. So now the question becomes, how do I rank these banners? Well, most of you should already know I ranked the Tifa banner the highest. I mean, that's the one I just jumped on. I thought this was an awesome banner. Great outfit, stats for the outfit, great weapon, solid all the way around. For me, I rank this as my number 1. However, another really solid choice for number 1 pull would be Sephiroth's here. The Blade of the Worthy, his outfit, having that Omni Elemental, the Omni Elemental Belt of the Worthy, boost attack, great. The fact that the weapon gives the exploit weakness as well as dealing that additional magic non-elemental damage, solid. So for me, kind of like a tie would be between the Tifa banner and the Sephiroth banner. I think those are top tier banners, definitely something to go for. Then I would say below those would be the Angeal banner, and again, just to the costume. The Vincent banner's interesting. I have a huge, like I said, I had a huge problem with this one, mainly just because of how the gun works. I don't like this ability of just making anything not weak to ice, because like I said, it really just kind of pigeonholes you into one team. So, I don't know. I rank this one at the bottom. Not that it's terrible. It's not a terrible banner. It's not a terrible weapon. The stats are great on this thing. I mean, doing 1120 physical ice damage is nothing to scoff at. The boost P attack to all allies, the boost ice potency is great. I just rank it at the bottom of what I think is needed. So again, how do I look at these banners if you're looking to pull? And again, always at least go for the costume minimum. If you're going to go for Tifa or for Sephiroth, you want to go OB6 on the weapon and get the costume. If you're going to go for Angeal, like I said, if you're going to focus on one of those two first and then try to decide you don't want the other one, then I say go for Angeal, get the costume and dip. Then Vincent, if you got stuff left and you still want to pull, go ahead and pull for Vincent. One copy of the weapon wouldn't be a terrible thing to have. Just because, you know, even though it's only going to be that 60 seconds, that ice weakness is still going to be an interesting thing. And like I said, obviously if you can get it up to OB6, you get that 50% ice weakness. So, those are my thoughts on the Angeal banner and then all 4 banners and kind of my ranking. Let me know down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on these banners, on the Vincent banner, all that great stuff. Do you agree with what I had to say? Do you disagree with anything? You know, let me know in the comments down below and we can start that conversation. So, again, some good stuff here, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you see, again, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.